ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
What is your advice on establishing a successful homeschool environment? Well, obviously, this is connected to the topic, to the issues that we discussed earlier on. And this is a very, very important question. In general, first of all, again, this might not apply to every household, but these are some of the things that you can establish. First of all, dedicate a specific room or a specific area of the house, and if not, then use the kitchen table or something. But have a specific area where your children, where they know that at set times they, do their studies and they meet together and they sit there, and you sit there with them, and you give them tarbiyah, you make them establish a daily routine, and so that routine starts with things like a basic lesson, a basic daily lesson on just a simple 5-10 minute lesson on something to do with the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal, or about being sincere, or about from the explaining the dhikr, or one of the supplications, something practical on a basis that you give them something like that on a daily basis. Then you teach them adab, like ways of behaving, how they have to behave with the parents, how they behave with the siblings, how they behave with the grandparents, how they behave with the imam in the masjid, how they behave with other Muslims, right? Because the adab is extremely important, that their behavior, that they're able to behave in a manner where they are respected, that these are respectful children who know how to interact with other people, right? Know how to speak with other people. So these are just tarbiyah type things to do with the character. As for the actual contents and the materials of the lessons, you have to give them something in Aqidah and Tawheed. You have to give them something in Aqidah and Tawheed. So you choose certain books like Al-Qawaid al-Arba, or something simple, the 3 principles. Choose explanations. Maybe many of the students of knowledge have given explanations on cassette or something. You sit there, you make them go through those lessons. So you have to address Tawheed and Aqidah as a routine, as a regular part of the homeschool. And then you choose other things which they have to learn because we are in the environment that we're in. Things like maths, things like make them reading, make them read books, make them aware of. Now, this is an important point. Do not close your children off to the degree that they are totally oblivious to the environment that is around them. Right? This is a danger that we have now, because sometimes we might try to be overly protective such that they become oblivious to the realities of the society that they are living in. And they can't cope with that society, which means that to some degree or other, you have to inform them of the nature of the society that they are living in, things which are happening around them, right? And, that they're at least aware of what's happening and what's what. So they've got some level of intelligence and understanding of what's actually going on, right? So you can't close them completely off. And so to that extent, maybe you sit down and you take something that's happening in the news or some event, right? No, I'm not saying you sit them down, but I'm saying you take some issue or event. You say, oh, yes, there's actually a war in Yemen taking place right now, and this is what's going on. There is the Rafīq, and they are trying to commit revolutions in the Sunni Muslim lands because they are waiting for their imam. And what those Muslim countries are trying to do, the Gulf countries, they're trying to repel. And obviously, in history, we know that, as Ibn Taymiyyah told us, that the Rafīq always they ally and they collude, with the munafiqeen and kuffar and whatever else in order to attack the Sunni Muslims. This is from their history. So what I'm saying is that you can't just make them oblivious to the things which are happening either in that society or just generally around the world as a whole. So you keep them up to date, you keep them informed, you allow them to gain an understanding, a working understanding of the world, so that they know what's going on, right? And they can make sense of the things which are going on around them. So obviously, I know that the answer to this question, we can go on and on and on and on, and we can speak about a curriculum, we can speak about, but I'm giving you some of the things which are maybe not often mentioned, which are often forgotten, when we try to home educate our children. Fourthly, obviously, you have to be an example yourself. So you have to be an example of a person, who is serious about knowledge, who is reading books. So if you read books and you tell your children, today I read 2 books, and this is what the books were about, right? Make them read a book and make them tell you what did they learn from the book, what have they read, whether it's fiction, whether it's non-fiction. Sometimes kids, especially who are younger, maybe they like to read, stories. You choose the stories that they read, and then let them tell you what did you learn from this, whatever. So you be an example if you are someone who spends time reading, studying, and then they will follow that example as well. Inculcate within them the desire to want to read and explore and to, acquire knowledge and whatever else. Then this will follow through on them as well.